Hey all, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and today I'm joined by Jonathan from ECA. How are you doing, man?
Doing well. Just trying to stay cool in this hot summer weather.
Yeah, dealing with the Memphis heat.
It's terrible.
We just got done with 4th of July. What'd you guys do for 4th of July?
Absolutely nothing.
Perfect.
It is no, we went over to my family's house and we just kind of hung out there and watched the fireworks and then went back home and then went to work the next day because it was terrible. I didn't understand why having it on a Monday. Like I know the holiday fell on a Monday, but all the big stuff was on a Monday. Just do it on the weekend.
We're cool.
Better like that.
Yeah, we'll make believe. I still got to get some sleep, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, for me it was like just a movie day. So it's like, I mean, really, that's perfect. AC going well. Can't complain.
Yep.
Not bad at all.
Nope.
All right, so you have two podcasts. You have ECA, East Coast Avengers, and Couples Conversations. Can you break down both these podcasts for everybody?
So ECA, like you mentioned, East Coast Avengers, it's been going on since the day before Endgame.
What a day to launch!
It was fantastic. We all got together and just we said, well, originally it was me and two others. We have 6 co-hosts, and me, Darren, and Josh got together at my parents' house where I lived at the time, and we just said, hey, let's just talk about on record. Let's talk about our thoughts and opinions on this movie, predictions, and we were like, what should we call this? What should we call this? And I said at the time I was actually reading the West Coast Avengers comic run, and Darren, I believe he was like, oh, well, we're closer to the West or to the East Coast. Let's just call us East Coast Avengers. And it kind of stuck, even though we're not even in Eastern time zone. We're in Central. So the name kind of confuses everyone. But we pretty much just do a bunch of nerdy things on there. We go to Comic Cons. We stream live every Wednesday on our during our episodes. We just talk about all the news and notes that there is around the universe. That's what we call it. And we go to Marvel premieres. We go to pretty much any movie premiere, I should say. And so we just like to do reviews and just talk about it like that, just nerdy things. And like I said, that's been going on for roughly 3-4 years now. And it's going to be bigger things are coming down the pipeline. So very excited about that. And then with the new podcast that I am a co-host with my lovely wife, her name is Madison. We started this at the beginning of this year, so in January, and it's been a lot of fun. Just talk about our kind of struggles and relationship status and what goes on, because we actually just got married about a month ago. Mm-hmm. And so we just talk about what it's like to kind of be a young couple who is just living in the world now, and that's a lot of fun, and I love doing it with with her and recording every Sunday. And I told her right now we have a little bet going on, not a bet, but I told her that if she gets 200 followers on Twitter, that I would get her a kitten, because she loves cats. And we have a little small dog. Her name is Storm. And she was like, I love Storm to death, but I've always been a cat person. So can we get a cat? And I said, yeah. I was like, you runs the Twitter account for Couples Conversation. Mm-hmm. And I said, if you can market and get the episodes out and do all that, because of course I have my own Twitter account. I run ECAs as well. I was like, I can't handle 3. Yeah. So I said, if you want to do this, if you get to 200 followers, I will get you a cat. And she is currently at, I believe, 183.
Okay. So, guess what's the first link in our description, guys? Get over there. Let's get a kitten out there.
Yeah. And so we've a running joke that the cat's name is going to be Thor, because how ironic would it be to have a very small cat named Thor? Yeah. But I think after seeing Lightyear, we're going to name the cat Socks. So
yeah, I have a feeling that's a pretty big name amongst cats right now, brand new cats.
I think so as well.
I don't know, but a small cat and a big cat, love and thunder. I'm just throwing that out there.
Look, we have Storm already. I'm okay with, one other animal, and then not many, but a few years down the line, we'll enter kid. So we'll see about that name down the line.
All right. So ECA, you called it the Nerdverse. Is that what you said?
Yes.
We call it the Geekdom. because we do very, we also cover the news stuff. We go to the Geekdom. So it's very similar podcast. If you guys are liking us, you might as well be listening to more. Really good group of guys. I've been on your guys' show a while back, and I mean, it's just such a fun group. I can't suggest them enough, and follow them on Twitter too, because God, there's some of the cosplay. I think Dom's the one that has the cosplay. That's just man, like he is so well done.
It's so good. Like I'll say this just to brag about Dom for a minute. One of our co-hosts, he's huge in the Power Rangers world. Like he loves doing Power Rangers, and he went to MegaCon and he got to see some of the the actors of the Power Rangers movies and shows. And he talked to some of them, and they were like, "Wow, you really know your stuff. Here is a free pass to Atlanta for the the Power Rangers con." And so he flew to Atlanta for one day, went to this Comic-Con for all Power Rangers, and like it was just like it's incredible.
It's literally like dream come true moment. That's so crazy.
Yeah. And a couple other things he does is like he got together with a really big artist, Joshua Swaby, and he is on a Marvel comic cover. He is Captain America, the Sam Wilson version, but
it's so dope too. Yeah.
And so so I'm not gonna lie, I did have him sign it, and it's hanging up on my wall. So it's a pretty big thing, because like he's not the person to brag on himself, so I'll do it for him. Like it's incredible. But all of our co-hosts are awesome. We were discussing earlier, Christian just got a huge engineering job. Can't be any more prouder, for him. Josh is doing his stuff on radio. Like he's actually working a radio show, which is really cool. Darren is actually, him and his mom helped me and my wife with our wedding planning. He's a wedding planner. He's a travel agent too. So he's in Cancun right now, actually putting on a wedding, which is really cool.
What a great gig.
So it's been a lot of fun. All of our guys are just awesome, and I couldn't ask for a better group. We all, and we were discussing this earlier before we started. It's good to have so many ideas and so many minds on a podcast, because we all don't like the same thing and we all love the same thing. Like I think half the group watches Stranger Things. I've never seen a single episode. So
you're killing me right now.
I'm sorry. But like with Dom, with his Power Rangers stuff, like I think the next closest person that is big into Power Rangers is Christian. And I wouldn't even say he's a huge fan. Like it's we all have our different likes and stuff. And so it's really cool to just get together and kind of throw ideas and stuff at each other and say, okay, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So yeah, it's a great group of guys.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's the same thing for you guys. It is for us. Something big in the anime world hops up and you're like, well, we got to make sure this guy's on, because Lord knows I don't know enough, or whatever it might be. Marvel, hey, let's get these guys on and stuff like that. Yep. So it's good to be able to have that rotating cast as well. Schedules wise, as you're well aware, is nightmarish. It might actually be the worst part of podcasting, I
think. I absolutely, I think so. I absolutely, it is again one of those. I text all the guys and I said, hey, be at my house at 8:00 if you're there. You're there, and if you're not, see you next week. So if you're there, you're there. So
it takes the stress off the situation just a little bit, just for the guy that's trying to schedule everybody.
Exactly.
So you guys started this with Endgame, which I mean still gives me goosebumps when I watch that final fight. That's just the Avengers Assemble. We waited 10 years for it, and it just still kills me. Where do you see ECA going forward? Much like the MCU, there's so many opportunities and so many options. Where do you guys want to take this forward?
Well, it's funny that you asked, because before Christian got his huge engineering gig, he was actually a manager at a theater here in Memphis, and we had thrown the idea out. It was something that we kind of just picked at a little bit, but we would have loved to rent out a theater for one day and shown a couple of movie marathons before the actual big, for instance, Thor: Love and Thunder just came out, and it would have been really cool if we would have rented out a theater for one day, had Thor 1 through 3 just playing in the background. People can come in and come out, just a big event like that. That would have been cool. But he moved on, obviously, and so now we don't really have that connection. But it's still in the back of our minds.
Definitely doable.
It's definitely doable. but I think another thing too is just getting ourselves out there and getting our name out there. I do know that recently we got in contact with a publisher or a press release for a Comic-Con here in Memphis, the Memphis Comic Expo, and we're going to be the moderators of that. And we have big name guests arriving, and we'll be able to get one-on-one interviews with them and talk with them and stuff. And so you can go check out the tickets. They'll be on memphiscomicexpo.com and see all the names who are going to be there. Our little picture and logo is actually on the website, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're trying to do things, again, like we just mentioned, trying to get everyone to do everything at once. When these big things, you want everyone in your group to,
of course,
to be there. And
all hands on deck.
Exactly. And so when we got the opportunity for this moderating gig, I immediately texted the guys and I was like, hey, clear your schedule for this date because we are doing this. I don't care what you're doing. Like, this is the date. And everybody was like, yep, done, cleared. Everything's good.
It's funny how it's easier when they get to go somewhere or something like that. It's like, oh, the hard work that got us to this point. You had some plans that day, I remember.
Yeah, exactly. So no, but it is very exciting. September 25th and 26th, I believe. Actually, let me look that up because it's so far out that I always forget. Yeah, 24th and 25th. It is the Saturday and Sunday, the last Saturday and Sunday of September. We actually were gonna go, like we already had plans on going, and we were just gonna cosplay and just have, my wife and I, we've actually gone to a few Comic-Cons together, and we've done like pairings of cosplay, and we were trying to figure out, okay, what do we want to do this one? And then we got this gig, and now she's kind of upset that we can't go, as I mean, we can still cosplay, but I'll be up on the stage moderating with, so we're still trying to figure all that stuff out, but we will definitely be there. So go buy your tickets. They're actually relatively cheap. Like if you buy them before the end of July, I believe it's like maybe just $40 for the full 2 days. So then of course, if you're flying in or driving or whatnot, so just be mindful of that. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Very excited for that.
That'd be cool. Do you guys go to conventions very often in your area?
In Memphis, if there ever is, a bigger one, like there's always, the very minor little, hotel lobby versions of cons or whatnot. And so we go to those as much as we can. Like I said, Dom's the one who usually goes to MegaCon. Dom and Darren went to MegaCon this year in Orlando. And then Dom went to the Atlanta one for the Power Rangers. So he usually is the one that hops from con to con. But there's definitely a pitch for all of us to go to a big one next year, just kind of collectively getting that together and whatnot. So we're definitely talking about it. I don't know if anything has come up, or I mean, I would love to go to E3. I would love to go to SDCC and stuff like that. It's just, again, trying to get everyone together and making the plans happen.
We need to figure out something, because for San Diego this year, they weren't allowing any new press. So I was like, son of a bitch, because it was, the COVID stuff. But next year, I think we'll get our team together, your team together. We'll get a couple of people, probably get the Grief Burritos or whoever else. Big old party down in San Diego, man. I'm thinking that's the option.
That would be so fun. Just to rent out a whole hotel. Just
hell yeah.
Every room is just for a different content group. And
oh my God.
Just like see, let's talk. We're gonna talk.
That is already in the works. Look at that. I'm already thinking like the con before the con. It's already right there.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah. So we have ECA couples conversations. What started this idea? Where did you get the idea for this one?
So funny enough, as we're talking about scheduling, no one was able to make an ECA episode. And so it was just going to be me by myself. Just, that's no fun because it's just my opinions. You got to have someone there. And so my lovely wife, Madison, jumped in and said, hey, if you just do the moderating and you run it down, I'll be at that second person to run it through. And so I tweeted it out and I was like, hey, we have just me on the episode, but join us on Twitch. And my fiance at the time, I was like, Madison will join us and she'll be the second person, as our guest or whatever. And it was the biggest Twitch stream that we've had ever. We've had bigger ones since, but up until that time, so many people were popping off in the chat. We had, I mean, the biggest amount of viewers that we had, and everyone was just commenting and everyone loved it. And so she obviously got the idea and she came up with it and said, hey, what if we did a podcast together? Like, what would we do? And I mean, for the whole month of December, we just kind of threw ideas at each other, just talked about it and whatnot. And then finally we said, hey, let's just do this where we talk about ourselves as a couple. And what if we just had a conversation about how we started out as a relationship and how we moved through the process of getting married, and then the struggles and the, you know, all this, the good stuff about it, the bad stuff about it. And we'll have people ask questions, we'll play games, and we'll just do something like every episode is something new. And so that started in January, and it's been great. Absolutely loving it. And it's just a lot of fun. So
yeah, something there for couples, something there for somebody who just wants some fun entertainment and just some fun people. We're gonna have links to both of these in the description, so you guys make sure you follow up on them. ECA Couples Conversations. We're gonna have them both in there, and check them out on Twitter, because and on all the social medias, but especially Twitter. Right. I know you're over there, man. I see you popping off on Twitter as much as you can. It is not easy running social. I always say, like, the first person we're hiring, paying money to, is a social media manager.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, that is. I've plenty of times I've gone to bed thinking about that. Can we costly, can we do this? Is this a good idea? So no, I absolutely agree.
Do you use any programs? Like, I use Buffer. Do you use any programs to kind of like pre-plan your social media posts?
No, it is off the dome. As soon as I know, normally what I try to do is just tweet really what I'm thinking, like an idea or just something like that. Like, if I'll watch Miss Marvel, I'll say, hey, I'm watching this. And then I'll give my, you know, non-spoiler review of Miss Marvel after the show. That's pretty much it. Or like, if we're going to the movies, I'll just say, hey, we're here. I'll take a picture of like my ticket and say, hey, we're at, just something like that. And that's really what I'm trying to kind of push on Madison a little bit is people on Twitter are going to like what they like. And so like, they're going to follow you because they like what you do. So you just got to randomly tweet just random things. Like, obviously you have to stick to your, you know, what you're about.
The brand. Yeah,
exactly. But like she's done a whole, oh my gosh, her growth in social media, because she doesn't have Twitter. She just has an Instagram and a Snapchat for her own personal self. But she's never had a Twitter. So she was very new to this. She didn't know really what to do, but now she's gotten the hang of it. Like, we all just went and saw Love and Thunder, and she immediately, like, as soon as the credits started rolling, she was on her phone, like, tweeting, just saw, you know, Love it. And I was
nice.
Like,
there you go. Good job.
There we go. Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because like the same thing you're saying there, like, as soon as I got out of my car, it just feels, it's a different way of thinking, but I took a picture of the theater. I'm like, okay, I might need that later on. And then I get in, poster of it, I take a picture of that, might need that later on. And your mindset changes. And I was telling the guys too, just like, because if I was like, hey, if you guys ever want to hop in, you guys know all the logins, just say, hey, I'm playing Resident Evil right now. Who cares? Just to get it out there. People want to see it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny too, because like, all your guys have the logins. All of us, we at ECA, we have all of our logins. And it's funny because, like, sometimes it used to be to where I would tweet something and then I would put like a dash and then put JT and just say, hey, this is me. Now, anytime you see ECA tweet, it's me.
Exactly.
Like, it's very rare where I'll be on my phone and I'll look down and someone liked the tweet from ECA that I didn't post, and I'm like, who did that? Oh, okay, well, I get it now. So no, it's but again, on the flip side of that, I kind of understand why nobody else tweets from our episode or from our show, because it's like, okay, well, he's doing it, I don't want to step on any toes. And so I understand that, and I respect that. And so, but like you said, hey, if you're out there, like Christian, he is huge into Halo, and I'm like, Christian, if you just want to post a picture of like your Spartan, just say, hey, this is my Spartan for the day or whatever, like, what do you guys think? Like, that will generate just random random comments, random likes. Like, people will do that. So it's all about, you know, I at one point I even, this was, now looking back on it, it was a bad thought, but I was like, what if we have a schedule like a schedule for, hey, you're gonna get this time slot, I'll get this time slot. Oh my
god.
I know,
AKA clock in.
Yes, exactly. At the time, I was like, yeah, we need everyone to pitch in, all hands on deck. And then it got to the point to where it was like, okay, all my hands are on deck. Everybody just stay away. Like, I got this. Don't worry.
It's just easier sometimes. It's just easier.
It really is. It really
it's
is.
like, so I usually fill up the buffer thing. So at least 3 times a day we send out a tweet or Instagram or something like that. But then I'll pepper it in with like watching Moon Knight. Egypt looks dope. Something like that, you know.
Exactly.
All right. So yes, go check out ECA and couples conversations. They're into the description. We're gonna be talking more, but I want to make sure you guys stop now, follow up on all those. But I want to talk about Thor with you, okay?
Okay.
We actually just got done recording Geek Freaks this morning, and of course, I was the only one that already watched Thor. Everybody's watching it this week, and I'm like, you guys are killing me because I want to talk about. I really want to talk about those post credits, but I want to talk about everything so bad. And so I'm gonna throw in a big blanket spoiler warning right now. If you guys haven't watched Thor, which this is coming out on a Thursday, so you guys should have watched it at this point. You really should have.
Yeah, you really. Yeah.
What's your immediate reactions on this movie?
I think so. Every time I think about these movies and shows and stuff, it's funny because some people will say, okay, we'll say something new about it, but like honestly, like you can't really come up with an idea because it's everyone has already said what they thought about it. So like it's like you can't really have your own ideas. But if I'm being honest, I think this is the most fun I've had at a Marvel movie. This movie, like, I did not take it serious from the get-go. As soon as I heard Taika Waititi was going to be hands on deck, like no control, no restraints. He had full control. I was like, oh yeah, this one's going to be the most goofy, out of this world. Like, I mean, off the walls. Like it's going to be crazy. And so you hear about this and that, and then they introduced Gore, and I was like, oh, they're going to go a little darker. And I was like, okay, let's see how they're going to portray this. Watching the movie, I think I laughed more than I laughed at any Marvel movie, which is great. Like, because you need that. Like, you have your basically every Marvel movie is kind of the same. The bad guy, the good guy, they're fighting, leads into something else. Well, this one was completely different because it honestly felt like Marvel's first adaptation of a rom-com. And and that's okay. Like, you've got to try something different. You got to go, when everything's going down path A, you got to try to go down path B and see what's going on. But no, I loved it. I did have, there's just a few, not every movie's perfect, but I did have a few nitpicks. But no, I had a lot of fun with it. And that's the overall, thing, in my opinion, that I think is what really sticks out, because I can go see, Multiverse of Madness and be like, wow, like that was wild. Like, I can't believe they did this or that, or the Illuminati, or, oh my God, it's, Reed Richards in this movie. But like, when I walked out of Thor: Love and Thunder, I'm talking about the jokes that they made. I'm talking about, the screaming goats. I'm talking, I'm smiling and just like I know. Okay. I was talking to a buddy of mine last night about this, and I said, the best part of this movie, again, this may be because my favorite comedy ever, like in all of comedies, is Mighty Pie Grail.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, exactly. So I like dumb comedy. Like, I like that stuff. So as soon as you hear Thor kind of like trying to get back with his weapon, and you just see like Stormbreaker come in at his, I was laughing so hard. I was dying at that. And then like, even when he's talking about the Thunderbolt, like Zeus's Thunderbolt,
and the ship to the
I was just I've seen it twice. I've seen the movie twice, and so each time I just died out loud, because that's just stupid comedy that I love.
There was so much of that, and it was like when they're like finally land on the planet to try to get to, and you think like they're gonna like just boom.
Directly right into
the random screaming ghosts as they hit into the space. It's just like perfect. So
and I think another thing that a lot of people are kind of like, I get the understanding of, it's too funny, it's too goofy. Some scenes are a little more goofier than others. I get that. Believe me, I do. But what like, I don't know, when it wanted to be funny, it was funny. When it wanted to be serious, it got serious. Like, I did not expect Gore to be that creepy. Like, that's scary.
So good.
Like, it was like Christian Bale absolutely killed
what
that
a
role.
God.
Like, seriously, like, that one scene when the kids are in the cage and
Pennywise, right? Doesn't he remind you of Pennywise?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact. He's like, oh, look at this. He like brings up the little snake and he rips the head off. He's like, you just liked it a second ago. And I was like, he's got a point. Like, he's got a point. So I don't know. Again, the stupid comedy is where I can, I can sit back and relax. I do think that this movie is definitely one that when it comes out on DVD or comes out on streaming, it is one that you can easily pop in and just watch. Like
a lot like Ragnarok in that way.
Exactly. And so I wholeheartedly believe that if you like Ragnarok, you're going to like this movie. And I heard that leading into it, so I was like, okay, I liked Ragnarok. It was good. So I absolutely love this movie. I think it was a lot of fun.
A lot of the complaints I'm hearing from those like in the group, they're like, well, Ragnarok was at the edge of too funny anyways. And then if this is more funny than that, then I kind of like that first Thor. And it's like, there's enough serious characters. I personally just liked I especially like with that, when Stormbreaker's kind of coming in, I like to imagine it's Taika Waititi himself, like underneath Stormbreaker, like barely moving it on set. Everybody trying to hold this shit together.
Yes.
And then I was just on Geek Freaks, we're talking about like, well, yeah, but Squeaks was mentioning, well, Taika Waititi, he did such a good job on Jojo Rabbit. I'm like, yeah, but you can't think of like the sad ending to Jojo Rabbit. You got to think of the fact that he's Hitler talking to a kid, joking around. That's what you got in this movie. You got that, Exactly. It's the most absurd thing you could see on screen. Screaming goats.
Exactly. What's funny too is after, obviously, when you do a rewatch, you notice things that you didn't notice in the first one. And so something that I didn't notice, maybe you have caught it, but when Korg was talking to Thor about when they were going to Omnipotent City, and he was like, oh, I wonder if my God's going to be there. And they actually show him. I did not catch this until my second watch. The god, Korg's god, was sitting on a throne of scissors because Rock beats scissors.
I didn't think about why it was. I was sitting there thinking, like, why is it scissors? Yes. Rock beats scissors. Oh shit, that is good. That is so. Oh my god, you know what? That's so stupid, and I love it.
It's the smallest things. It is just these smallest things. Like
I was like, oh, I don't know enough about his comic book, I guess, because there's got to be something with the scissors. It's as simple as that shit. It's
and then
very
the other
Monty
thing was,
Python.
yes. And then the other thing was Korg was telling about Jane Foster at the end, and let me tell you about the space, blah blah blah. And he was like, and then for me, I found my, and we held hands, and his name was Dwayne the Rock.
The Rock. Like I caught that one. I was like oh man,
it's so good. Like I can see Taika just like you said, just putting it out to the the cast and crew, and then actually doing it, like actually doing the scenes, actually do, like that. That's just perfect. And again, you got to go in it with, don't think this is a serious movie. That's what I think a lot of. And again, the biggest thing that I have, and this goes with any movie, this is my biggest gripe, is when the Rotten Tomatoes scores, all the critics come out and they make all these comments about it. It's like, what did you expect? Like, did you like when they? Okay, don't get me wrong. Let me preface this by saying Morbius is not a good movie.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad as what people were giving it.
Right.
And my thought was, I guarantee you that people saw No Way Home, and then Morbius came out, and then they delayed it because, oh my gosh, Spider-Man might be in there. You get these things in people's heads, and critics are like, okay, let me go watch Morbius. If I don't see this person, or if I don't get this, then I'm going to trash it. And it's like, why? Like if you're going to do a review on something, just put in there beforehand, hey, this is my opinion.
Right.
Because everyone has their right to their own opinion. And I preach this all the time, because I hate the one thing that I absolutely hate is when people bash something and they've never seen it. Like I saw a person on Twitter that said, oh my gosh, look at this, 70% on Rotten Tomatoes for Thor: Love and Thunder. It's already going to be trashed. I can't wait to, like this movie's already trash. And I just very politely tweeted and I said, have you seen the movie yet? And they responded and it's like, oh no, it doesn't come out for me until Friday. And I was like, well then how do you hate it already? Like how? And they were like, oh well, I read this one review, and I was like, yeah, but that's his review. That's not your opinion. Like, where is your opinion at? Oh, you haven't seen it, so you can't. Okay, like I don't
have opinion. Wait until then have an opinion. If you need to share it,
Exactly.
We were talking about that with Miss Marvel. Like, honestly, that show's just not made for me. I could tell that I'm not the target audience, and that's fine. I appreciate their efforts. I think some of the stuff they're doing is really cool and awesome looking. But then when you see people who are like bashing on it, and the reason they're bashing on it for different reasons, and you're just like, are you so bored that you have to like log into IMDb to write this review for a show that's not intended for you? That's what are you doing? Like, it's so
Exactly.
silly. And
Exactly.
it's, you know, I could see like having a legitimate argument, like, oh, I wish they actually was stuck with her true abilities, or like actually go into it, not just be like, oh, well, they should have done this. This isn't Captain Marvel. Like, I know shit's not Captain Marvel. It never was.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
They stopped reading comic books in the 90s and they think that that's where all comic books ended. It's like, no, there was a lot after that. Gore is from 2013. So what are you going to do?
Exactly. Exactly. And you know, with Miss Marvel, like, I'm absolutely loving the show. I think it's great. And one thing that I absolutely loved it is, or why I'm loving it, is because it's different. Like, it is a different origin than what everyone else has seen in, you know, with the comics and stuff. Like, they've stuck with the name and the character, but they completely went left field with how this origin, and that is because it's going into something bigger and, you know, more connected with the Marvel universe that we're in now. So I'm fine with that. Like, I'm okay with that, you know, going in with, you know, no expectations, saying like, oh, this is that. And my thing is like, if you're not going to like it, look, I understand you're not going to like it, and that's fine. Everyone is, if you have a respectable reason, that's cool. Don't go bash this girl who literally got like, is like, Iman Vellani is literally one of us, like a nerd who absolutely loves what she does. She dressed up as Miss Marvel for Halloween, for God's sake. She is a nerd at heart, and she just got this role because she fits it so perfectly. But people are on the internet and are going to write her death letters saying like, why aren't you like, why don't you have the, you know, embiggen ability? Why aren't you Inhuman? Why, like, it's not her, bro. Like, chill. Like, I don't know, that's kind of stuff just, you know, pisses me off and stuff. But I guarantee you, in this finale, I'm calling it now, if there is no Carol Danvers in this show, if there is nothing, people are going to bash it. People are going to, I guarantee.
You're so right. And I actually expect it myself. I expect not only that I expect Carol Danvers to be there, or at least Monica Rambeau, like do something like that to kind of initiate, you know, the team. But you're right. I will be somewhat disappointed, and that's my fault for having that preset going into it. And I like the way that they've been. I've mentioned this with Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, I feel like, is the very first like MCU created superhero, because I mean, he is absolutely nothing like he is in the comic books, and in my opinion, way better. Like the way he manipulates the very Avatar: The Last Airbender manipulating of the rings and stuff like that. Like, sometimes you just got to trust Kevin Feige and the team. Like, they'll figure it out. Just go with it.
It's gotten to the point to where it's like they haven't really let us down, like, at all. Like, too bad. Like, I mean, too bad. Yeah, they haven't done anything that I'm like, they're not like Sony. Let's just say that. They've got it. They've got a path. Like, I mean, Kevin Feige even said that he was going, you know, to meet with all the writers for the next like 10 years of movies. It's like, okay, he has an idea. He's got this path, and he's got a team behind him that is working with him. Like, they know what they're doing. So I'm, you know, hey, as long as they don't steer me wrong and they're not putting out terrible stuff, I'm okay with it. Like Moon Knight, oh boy, Moon Knight was fantastic.
And my favorite parts were the parts without Moon Knight. I just loved the characters. It was so good. Yeah.
It was great. Loved it.
You're so right on this. And like, even us, we used to do grades for everything. We'd go watch, you throw a grade out right away as soon as possible. Like, oh, we got to make sure to try to beat IGN on the grade. And then I realized that I would see an IGN grade and I was like, oh, I don't want to watch it. And they're like, well, shit, that's what I'm doing. I'm feeding into that. Right. And my opinion, usually I'm generally pretty optimistic. I'll watch something and be like, well, I was entertained, so that did its job, you know? And so yeah, go watch it yourself, guys. Give it a second shot.
Exactly. My wife says it the best. Like, we do, for my personal YouTube channel, we usually do this where we get to the theater or whatever, and we'll put the camera up, and then my wife and I will talk about what we are expecting in the movie or what we hope to see in the movie. And she said it best this last one. She was like, I just want to go in and have fun. Yeah. Like I'm not really expecting much, you know, I want to enjoy it. And honestly, when I look at a movie and I give like my overall thoughts on it, I am putting in that experience, you know, like we talked about it earlier. In game, nothing will top that. Nothing will top going into the theater, seeing cosplayers dress up as different people. Like, I remember some of us at ECA brought our Infinity in there, and like we took pictures and stuff, and you know, people, the whole IMAX, exactly, the whole IMAX was packed, you know, from top to bottom, people watching this movie. The cheering, the experience, like that is what also goes into what I think about a movie. Now with Love and Thunder, there was so much people, like so many people laughing, so many many like audience members just cracking up at random times. Like,
yeah,
that's what I like to see. And same goes with Multiverse of Madness. Like when John Krasinski appeared out of the the little
I
thing,
was losing my shit.
everyone was and I love that. And I was like, yes, that's great. So I take that into accountability of, okay, how did I feel about this movie? Well, the fan experience was awesome. I love that. The how was the movie? Did I have fun? Absolutely had a blast. And did it leave me asking questions? No, but it left me wanting more after that mid-credit scene.
Exactly.
So so I'm like, okay, we're pretty good right now. But the same goes with like how I look at other movies, like The Batman. Loved it. It was a fantastic movie. Not a lot of theaters did fan experience type things. My theater here in Memphis, they handed out part 1 of The Long Halloween, the comic.
Awesome.
And
nice.
Yeah, they handed out everyone like the first part of that. And so we all got, a comic book, and I was like, see, that's what you need to do. Like AMC, I know you've seen it, the AMC popcorn buckets. And, as much as I want one, I'm thinking to myself, okay, when am I ever going to pop popcorn, put it in the bucket at my own house? Like I'm paying $45 to have it shipped to me. I was like, if there was an AMC here, then yes, I would absolutely get it. But I'm not plus shipping, handling. I was like, look, shout out to everyone who has it, but I can't get it.
Yeah. You mentioned the post-credit scenes. Let's mention those real quick, because spoiler alert again, guys. We're going ultra spoilers on this one. Yes. Hercules. I'm so freaking hyped for Hercules. Ooh, hot damn.
It was one of those where as soon as I saw it, I just like in my like what I hope to see in my video that I made. One thing I said was, I just want to hear a mention, just a snippet of the word Hercules, because as soon as they casted Russell Crowe as Zeus, I was like, here is the door, open it and say, here's Hercules. Like that's all I wanted. Just name drop him, because anything that is name drop is canonically in the MCU.
Right.
And so I was like, yep, I want Hercules. And then Thor said his name when they were talking about going and having all these gods against them, team up against Gore. And I was like, oh, okay, I got it. I got my Hercules drop. He's in the MCU. We'll see him sometime down the line. And then the post-credit scene, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, yes, this is fantastic. I love this. Yeah, it was perfect. It was perfect. And I didn't know the actor who they cast as Hercules.
Ted Lasso.
Yeah, that's where I hear he's from. And I've never seen Ted Lasso. I know.
Yeah, and
on the list. And it a lot of people said that it was a good, they thought that was a good casting.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I trust those.
Yeah, it's one of those castings that I was like, John Krasinski, you just know he's going to be, if he's not Mr. Fantastic now, he is in my fantasies. But this was like, I wouldn't have thought about it, but I was like, damn, yeah, totally Hercules. It's perfect. Especially for Marvel's Hercules, which is a different creature than what you're thinking if you know just Disney or something like that. So I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing him go toe to toe with Thor or somebody. I don't know if it'll necessarily be Thor, but he's got a good story. He's going to be somebody special. And then we got Valhalla. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, why are they going to do a post-credit scene for Valhalla? Basically, they're just dead. I'm like, have you not watched Moon Knight? No doors are closed, my friend.
Nope. They are. As soon as I saw Valhalla, and I was thinking in my head, I was like, who else have we seen that has died that probably would go there? Right now, I mean, my mind is just, I'm just glad that we saw Heimdall. Because we need Heimdall in there. I mean, we got a son, but
which is probably going to be Young Avengers. I think he's going to end up in Young Avengers.
Yeah. So, exactly like you said, no doors are closed now. I mean, every realm is, to the thought of, hey, this person's going to be in Valhalla, and maybe, I don't think Loki would be in there, but he might be, maybe.
At least one version. There's got to be somebody.
A version of Loki has to be. I mean, not has to be, but I would assume
he died in battle.
Really did. So you really never know who can pop up. But I wanted to throw this out there to you with Hercules. I was talking to my wife about this on the way home, and I texted Ken from ODPH, and I was talking to him about it, and we kind of had the same idea. He threw out the idea, and I was like, I was just thinking about this. All right, so let me paint the picture. Ready? Okay. So the next big movie or the next big whatever, it doesn't even have to be connected, because we've seen that a lot of these post-credit scenes are just furthering stories. It's not connected to the movie. So maybe in a show, or maybe in, whatever. Anyways, we see the camera pans over and you see New Asgard, and you're like, oh, okay, well, they're back at New Asgard, and you see the kids fighting or training or whatever, and you see just tourists walking around, and the camera kind of just pans up on a hill, and you see someone walking down the hill. It's just one singular person. Yeah. And then that camera is kind of following this singular person, and then it gets to the portion of where this person is standing by the statue of Jane, and this person is looking at the character has like a hood over the head, and has like a scarf or whatever, and the camera pans from the back of the backside to the side of this person's face, and it is Contessa Valentina, whatever. It's Val.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't trust her.
Okay, so Val is looking at Jane, and she's like, a woman in power. You love to see it. That is, that's awesome. And then she's just looking around. She's just a tourist right now.
Yeah.
But then she turns around, and the skies open up, and in the far distance, you see a figure drop, and then you see another figure fall, a couple seconds after. And this figure, she looks over, and then all of a sudden, the next figure that you see is a jumping Hercules landing on New Asgard. And she looks over and she says, I think you're here for one reason, but I can help you with that reason.
Yeah.
And Hercules is now a part of the Thunderbolts.
Dude, you need somebody like that. Well, you've got Abomination. Yeah, he would be him and Abomination together. Oh, damn.
Because you have the Thunderbolts right now, as you can kind of see it, is you've kind of got a version, a darker or a more like anti-hero version of each. I mean, John Walker, U.S. Agent, is the Captain America. You have the Yelena Belova as the Black Widow, Abomination, Hulk. Like, you just need someone, an archer or someone who is on the ground, Zemo with a sword, possibly. Then you have Val being the Nick. Then you have the god, it would be Hercules trying to stop another god. Like, I can just see, like, if that happened, I would have been like, yes. Like,
I never thought about Val getting involved, but yeah, that would set up the Thunderbolts series. I cannot wait for Thunderbolts, guys. Oh,
I know. I know. As soon as they announced that, I was like, yes, give it to me right now.
Yeah.
Just drop all the casting. Like, and well, and even if you want to go, a little bit further, I mean, you have Taskmaster. She's not dead.
Yeah. And was dope. It was so good in Black Widow. So yes,
yeah.
please.
And so, I mean, you've got the team assembled. You just got to have someone to put them all together. And
it makes me want to fire up the Avengers game, because I'm just thinking like Taskmaster was good in that game. That's where I first fell in love with Kamala Khan.
Yep.
Like, there's a lot of good characters
in the game. I mean, everything it's all there, and I'm excited for Thunderbolts, but we've got a couple of more projects before we get to that. So maybe there's some more connecting with within the couple shows that we have.
Yeah. All right. We're getting pretty long in the tooth on this one. So let's get into our top 5 Marvel characters that are not in the MCU yet. So we're going to kind of go over these, and we're going to kind of plead like these guys need to be jumping in on this. I'm going to start us off. Okay. And I'll say some of these are like, we think they're coming soon, right? We all listen to Howard Stern. We know what's going on there, but stuff like that. But I'm going to start off with Captain Britain. I really want Captain Britain in here because I like this guy who's got, Merlin's powers, somebody who's protecting the queen and like the super dedicated to their country. And UK, it's a good way to kind of get that Captain America itch if you guys want somebody, classic like that. But there's just something about this old school superhero that I want back. And Henry Cavill. Just can we get Witcher with a sword, Henry Cavill style? Yes. And I want my Captain Britain. What do you think about that one?
Okay, I like that. I really like that Henry Cavill because he's on the market. Like,
and he's down to clown. The guy's always wanting to do something.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, he did The Witcher. I mean, he's Superman. Like, he just add Marvel to the list.
Hell yeah,
just bring him on board. For me, I would have to go. And again, this is one of those, like you mentioned, is we believe he's on the way. Miles Morales, just go ahead.
Yes.
Just go ahead. Just bring it to him. You know, bring us home our boy, because everyone, he is there right now, with the Sony's, Into the Spider-Verse and whatnot, and the video game, and then the comics and stuff.
Let's see. We're on number 4. All right, I'll do my number 4. I'm gonna go with Donny Cates. I can't pass up Donny Cates, right? So basically everything he writes, I have to read. Cosmic Ghost Rider. We've got our Ghost Rider already. And look, I know Ghost Rider is not, I get that. But if we're going to bring him back in, it's got to be something better than what we've had before. Cosmic Ghost Rider. Right. And we know what that door opens up. We know what's sitting over there. We're talking about the real next big bad.
We know.
Yeah. But let's get Cosmic Ghost Rider. We already have embraced Guardians of the Galaxy and all kinds of cosmic stuff. Let's bring him out. I mean, it's just badass. There's no other way to say it. It's just badass. And Donny Cates always going to win.
No, I agree. We know what's on the other side of it. So yeah, sometimes you feel like the door's open, but you just got to have a little nudge. So just bring them on. For me, my number 4, it's one that I think, depending on how you view the What If series, is it canon? Is it not? Is it in the MCU? It's not. Just bring me the Watcher. Just.
Yeah,
you can have a full CGI Watcher. Just that's fine. Just as long as, we even got him as a statue in Thor: Love and Thunder. That's fine. That's all I need. That's all I need is just just the Watcher, because he is now going to be a fixation with the multiverse, right? I mean, he sees all, so why not have him in there?
And you know what? Yeah, he could be like the next level of Nick Fury, right?
Yep.
I know he's not supposed to intervene, but he sure the hell did in What If. But and let's keep the same actor. I can't remember his name. I'm trying to pull it out of my. He's Batman. He's in Batman. He's Westworld. God damn it, Hunger Games even.
Oh my gosh! As soon as we look it up, it's going to be like, I know it's going to be there. He does a lot of Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright, thank you very much. Yes, he's going to be, from what I hear, the Gotham PD series as well. Ooh. So yeah, that is dope. Okay, good choice on that one. All right, so my number 3, I'm going to go with Hulkling. I want Hulkling in there, and I think we're leading up to it with Secret Wars. I think there's a possibility of kind of getting something in there. Teddy, he's such a good character. I just really like him. He's got this like good mix of like, bringing warring sides together. He's the best of the Skrull, in my opinion, and the Super Skrull deals with them. And then, of course, we already got Wiccan. So, I mean, you can't talk Hulkling without talking Wiccan. And Wiccan's now established. And we got Young Avengers coming up. Every single door is open now. So,
exactly.
This is one of those things we talked about earlier. We're like, oh, fans will be pissed off if something's not coming up with Carol Danvers. If I don't see some Hulkling somewhere in your scrolls or mention of him, I'm going to be upset. So I want something like that.
Right. So for my next one is, again, it's one of those where an adaptation of this character is in the MCU, but I think Maestro needs to be somewhere down the line. I know there is a rumored World War Hulk movie possibly being, developed or talked about. This would be a perfect introduction to Maestro himself. I just think in the comics, he is just a badass. So what they've done with the Hulk so far is kind of, it's not. We kind of miss Hulk. Love.
We just miss regular Hulk.
Exactly. So if you bring that guy in, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, we were just talking about him earlier today in Regular Geek Freaks, because Squeaks is going through Logan's, he's going through Hawkeyes, he's going through all the old man stuff. So it's like, well, you got to go with Hulk.
Exactly.
That is a good choice. Okay, that is a good choice. All right, my next one, and I actually do think, not necessarily just because of Howard Stern, but because it makes too much damn sense. Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is not only has to be in here pretty soon, but he's such a good character. And I've often said this. I think he's our next Loki, the bad guy who sticks around for a while. And I think there's some parts of me that want him to kind of almost fit in for that emergency Iron Man thing, where it's like, hey, we need somebody that's like gonna do something like create an Ultron to try to protect Earth. Well, he would do something like that. Mm-hmm. Not with greatest intentions, but it would be there.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I like that. I think obviously with Howard Stern dropping that, mega bomb, apparently, it got everyone talking. And I think that's the next best thing to do. For me, I I kind of struggled with this because I was like, okay, is this person actually in the MCU, or is, what are they trying to do with it? But give me Howard the Duck. I need
Jesus.
I need some Howard the Duck in my
Technically,
life.
technically, I guess in the MCU, but
yeah, technically he is, but I need to see him
man.
talk. I need to see him battle or something.
I think he's voiced really by Seth Rogen too, which is just that's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can. I mean, I know they have the old movie, old movie.
I watched those. I watched those.
Yeah. But I need an MCU version of Howard the Duck, and I'll be okay with that.
That would be a really good series, actually. That would be a really fun series where he's just kind of like jumping in on random ass stories. Would be great. Maybe we'll get him in the next Thor. He would fit well in a Taika Thor. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
My number one actually technically kind of is in the MCU because there's a statue to him. And if I were to get a tattoo of a Marvel character today, it would be of this guy, Beta Ray Bill. Ooh. I must have me some Beta Ray Bill. It's one of my absolute favorite characters. It to me explains, like, I used to like Thunderstrike a lot as a kid too. I like Thor a lot, but I like Thunderstrike. Beta Ray Bill's the same thing. It's like, it's beyond the fact that he's a god. It's because Thor has earned the right to pick up Mjolnir. And that's what Beta Ray Bill is as well. And the fact that he's just like protecting his people don't want anything to do with him at a certain point, because it's much like, the old classic Fallout story where it's like you become a bad guy to protect people. And it's like, shit, that's so cool. Beta Ray Bill, it's enough, Marvel. Let's bring him out. I don't care if you have to gore him up. I know that making a horse face is tricky. If you have to gore him up, okay, I understand, but let's get him already. It's time.
Yeah, exactly. Now, my last option is I was going to go with one, but it would kind of be a cop-out because technically he's already about to be in the MCU. I was going to go Deadpool.
Okay.
But that because I mean we know he's about to make his jump. So the last I need to see in the MCU, and I need this person to just, as long as he's there, I'm good. He can be a background character. He can be someone who is actually like a badass. It doesn't matter, but I need to see Colossus.
Yes.
I need a Titan, like not Titan, but like I need someone who has that just strength, like someone that can. Loved him in the Deadpool movies. He was such a great character in that movie. He brought Deadpool from on the verge of just losing it all to, all right, I need to be good and stuff. And so I think if you bring him in, obviously the X-Men have to be associated. But my whole thing with the X-Men is I don't want to see the classic X-Men being introduced first. Like if you're going to bring the X-Men in, do it a little bit from the outside in. Like, don't start from Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, Professor X. Don't start with those guys because we know those guys. We know who they are. Start with like Kitty Pryde and Iceman and Colossus and just people like that. Start with those characters and then work your way into starting the X-Men. That would be my opinion.
Yeah, I have a similar opinion on the X-Men. I actually want them to start off with a Gambit Storm on the streets, surviving as thieves thing, and then
okay
X-Men as well. Colossus, though, I mean, you can't go Colossus too long before you get him throwing Wolverine. I'm just saying,
right?
You're gonna bring him in. I want him launching a Wolverine at somebody. So that's
exactly. It needs to be in like that. The big. I can easily see Marvel doing like a mutants versus superhero like battle, and then all of a sudden something happens and they have to team up. Like that's like the easiest writing ever.
Yeah.
That would be I could see Colossus throwing Wolverine towards a flying Sam Wilson in America. Like I could just again
so cool. And then like slicing a wing off.
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly.
That'd be cool. We've talked about on the podcast before where Marvel is incredibly lucky they didn't have the rights to Fantastic Four and X-Men and Spider-Man for a while there, because they got to exhaust. I mean, like if you guys are being honest, not everybody knew who Iron Man was when that came out. He wasn't that big of a character. Everybody knew who X-Men was. And so the fact that they were able to build up the brand with who they had, and now after 20 years and you're starting to dig into the Nova bucket, you're starting to get a little deeper, you get to say X-Men.
Exactly.
Kevin Feige, he's so lucky he didn't have the rights to that and burn that too fast. So it's going to be.
No, I agree. He for sure lucked out on that one, because as soon those the biggest like titles that he's been thinking about. Like, I mean, just the sheer fact that we have been on the verge of mentioning the word mutant. Like, we have been talking about it. There have been like rumblings in the MCU. Like he's looking at it and he's like, all right, I want you to try to tease it, but not all the way. Like, give us just a little bit, but not. Oh man, as soon as he got the rights, him and Sony, or them and Sony got the rights to do his Spider-Man thing, he was all over it, and it's done well. And I'm very hesitant to see how they do the new version of the Fantastic Four and the new version of the X-Men, because like when you hear those names, you automatically think of the older early 2000s version. So like something new, something more modern, something more MCU-ish is going to be the struggle, honestly. I mean, with the Fantastic Four, we don't talk about the Miles Teller or the Fan Four Stick. We don't discuss that. That doesn't count at all. So, I mean, I don't know. Bringing older characters back as the, like the Professor X, having, Sir Patrick Stewart in there, like that was great. That was great fan service. I don't want to see him in there though. Like
there's no need for it.
I want a new one.
But I think what we saw in that is exactly what we needed to see, in the fact that he was rocking the 97 X-Men chair, which shows what Marvel and MCU can do when they get these rights back. Because I loved those 2000. I mean, Hugh Jackman, amazing Wolverine, right? But those were these guys who were like, well, we have to have darker suits. We can't have the yellow and blue suit on and stuff like that. But Marvel's like, look at that chair, guys. That's straight up out of the cartoon. Yeah, you're gonna see your Wolverine rockets are yellow and blue. So I'm like, yes,
exactly, exactly. And the same with Daredevil. I mean, they just got the rights to them and the whole Defenders cast. Like, we just got news that Echo, he's going to be appearing in Echo. So like, give him. I mean, I know the rumor was the yellow and black suit that he's going to be rocking. I'm okay with that, honestly. Like, if depending on when he does, put it on, like. Again, it's something new, and newness is always good.
Even Kingpin was a good example. Like, you literally seen Kingpin before they had control of the situation, and after, and then he's got his Hawaiian shirt on with a white suit, and you're like, that's Kingpin. That's off the pages.
Like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, that's a bad dude. I don't want to mess with him. Like, like he just looks like someone you're like, okay, like he means business. Like, this dude's rocking a Hawaiian shirt with like a full tuxedo. Like, nah, like.
And he's not up in his tower like he was in the Netflix series, where he's like in his tower almost too distant. Here he's kind of getting a little grimy, and it's like, okay, I like this. He's in Hell's Kitchen, Oh man,
exactly.
We could talk about this forever.
For real.
All right, guys, please go check out ECA, East Coast Avengers, Couples Conversations, both great podcasts, and then follow them up on Twitter. Especially got to get that new kitten, so make sure you guys follow over there.
Thanks for that.
Oh yeah. All right, we will see you guys next week. Thank you again very much for joining me, Jonathan.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, see you guys later. Bye.